I, if I may do an introduction, because you're used to doing the introductions.
Absolutely. Please do, man.
So for those of you who have been living under a rock and don't know who Shawn French is, he is one of the best people that I know. He is most importantly an incredible father to several beautiful children, an amazing husband as much as he can be to a beautiful wife. He has his own business. He's been all over the country working medical sales, all kinds of things of that nature. Host to the Determined Society, top 1.5% podcast for entrepreneurs, right up next to Gary Vee. And if you don't know who he is, I don't know why you're tuning in. With that being said, I don't know very many people with, I mean, let me just add, was starting catcher on the LSU baseball team, works with young athletes, works on people's mindsets, is just, again, one of the best humans that I know. And there is nobody on this planet that I would know that would not call Shawn successful.
Wow.
With that said, we all have an area that we want to pick up in some way. And Shawn's priorities have been on his family, rightfully so, on growing his business to take care of his family. And like so many of us, as his priority has shifted away from his health and fitness, and in attempts to go back, there were other things that were limiting. And he tried to use an old lifestyle of health and fitness to fit it into the new one that he has. So we're going to go live. Shawn and I are going to be working on rediscovering his fit, happy, healthy, strong version of himself. But we're going to do it here. Because y'all know Shawn is this strong, beautiful leader. We all have things we want to work on. And that's where we're going to dive in. So, Shawn French, my brother, let's do
Dude,
this.
thanks, man. That intro was emotional. Thank you.
What prompted you, with everything you have going on, to reprioritize your health and fitness? And what does that journey look like?
Dude, so let's first go back to where it fell off, right? Most recently. I feel like, not a lot of people know this, but in the back half of 2023, on my transition out of corporate America and into my own payroll business that I own, and then so my personal brand, there was a lot of financial struggle. I mean, 2023 was the worst financial year that my wife and I have had, I would say, in the last probably 5 to 10 years. It was bad. And with that comes a lot of stress, right? With that comes a lot of seeking comfort in some not so healthy ways. And so for me, once the sun went down, that was the witching hour to where I would just hammer chocolate and binge eat, right? It was just one of those things that I don't know why I did it, but I was doing it. And while all this is going on, I'm not feeling much different. I can feel like, hey, maybe this shirt might be getting a little tighter, or these pants are getting a little tighter. But then all of a sudden was this massive, like 20 to 25 pound weight gain. And, so for me, it was debilitating, man. And I couldn't, once I saw that number on the scale, it's like I could not for the life of me get out of my own way. And I was just looking at that number and thinking about that number constantly and trying to hold this perfectionism complex of what the narrative out there on social media is. If you're not shredded, you're lazy, you're a loser, you're unsuccessful, you have zero discipline. And while I know those are falsehoods, I bought into it, right? And once I did my TEDx talk last week or the week before, I really healed in so many different ways. And for me, it was just time to go at this a little bit differently. And so for me now, see, I don't have as much shame and blame as I did even 2 weeks ago before that talk. So anytime I would try to get in really good shape, it was because I freaking hated myself. Like I hated my body. I hated what I looked like in every picture. And so with that, you don't take a lot of love into the situation, right? Just imagine trying to have a healthy relationship with someone you hate. Doesn't make much sense, does it? But that was almost like how I felt about my body, right? And so recently, and you and I have had these conversations offline, but I feel like bringing it here is so important, so everybody can hear this, and if they're watching the replay, can really understand. There's a lot of psychosis that goes along with, you know, weight loss, weight gain, and kind of how we view it. But for me, the road back really looks different, right? Like, I'm comfortable with the last 2 days of my effort. A walk in the morning yesterday. Yeah, I did track yesterday. I will tell you, I did track. Today, got up at 4 a.m. like I normally would, when I'm on. And dude, there was joy when I heard that alarm. Like, I can't explain it. I was like, oh, cool, man. Like, it's time. Got out of bed, like literally feet on the floor, got dressed, walked out the door excited. So I think for me now, what it looks like is just understanding that there needs to be an effort every single day, but it doesn't have to look exactly perfect. Um, this is just a season for me to try it differently, man, and lead with love, with the grace for myself.
Man, that's so powerful. And I know that's going to resonate with so many people because so many people do approach their health and fitness with this loathing and this desperation. And we have had hours and hours and hours of discussions all fine, y'all. So we're going to summarize some of that here. And you have tried before, right? You have tried. And as everybody has, most people have. And for most people, that looks like starvation. It looks like a ton of exercise. It looks like slashing calories and things of that nature. What had you tried before and what was the outcome?
Dude, so like I've done Whole30. I've done the old Advocare 24-day challenge. I've done 75 hard multiple times. And while those are really good programs to like, see if you can stick to what you're going to do, whether it's the right thing or not, you're still giving yourself evidence that you can be disciplined. Like, all right, this is the route I'm going for the next 75 or 30 days, whatever it is. The great part about those programs, and I will never bash them for what they are, but you get results really, really quickly. Imagine depleting your body of calories and exercising twice a day, one being outside, you flatten out quite a bit, right? You lose a lot of water weight, you lose a lot of muscle because you're not probably getting the amount of protein that you need. So initially you have that quick hit. It's like, oh, man, I look a little different without my shirt on today, right? Or, hey, I look good in this picture here. And what you quickly realize is as quickly as that pendulum goes this way, it's going to swing back and hit you right on the rear end on the way back. And so for me, and what I've noticed is as I get older, and I don't know if this is just something I'm making up in my mind or if it's a story, but I feel as though like when I lean up and then when I expand again, as I get older, it gets significantly worse, right? So like I feel right now, I'm like, I don't know how the hell I'm 230 pounds. I've never been 230 pounds. So I could sit here and I can go on like this whole thing in my head, like, oh, you're at your lowest point. I'm not at my lowest point. I'm not. Like, I've got so many amazing things going on in my life. And then I have this opportunity to show myself that I'm worth it, to show everybody else. I was documenting this on every single week on Instagram. Right now, this is the baseline. Next week, the week after, things will look a little bit different. And then my goal, and I think your goal is here, is to show people that no matter what season we are in our life, we can still make moves to be more fit. And in my case, get back at it in general. I mean, it's, as long as I'm still breathing, there's time.
That's it. And with those programs, and though, there's a few that I like, there's a few that I don't, whatever works for somebody works. With that being said, every one of those programs that we try that gets us quick results, and then we pendulum swing back to your point. When you were done, what kind of expectation, if I'm hearing you right, that the expectation was always that every time you embarked on a health journey or a fat loss journey, that you should have these ridiculously fast results and it should be all in all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know I've been in the background for quite a while going, slow down.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the rush? What's the rush? What happens? Like, how did that start to build proof, if I'm hearing you correctly, to the contrary? Like you mentioned, they build proof that you can do these things, but when it swings back, it sounds like it built proof that you couldn't keep it off or that maybe you weren't worth it. Can we look at that for a second?
Yeah. So like I think that right there, when you swing back the other way, right? When you go back towards the weight gain and not controlling the food, you have a self-fulfilling prophecy that you're not good enough and you're not supposed to be lean and fit. And I fell into that. And it's something that, like, for those people that are watching, like, they don't know that about me, right? I've hinted at it in my show. I've talked about my struggle with fitness and things like that, but I've never hit people in between the eyes with it. It's like I literally, for the longest time, have not felt like I deserve it. Whether it's something my daddy said or my whatever, I chose to believe it for this long. That's on me, right? But we're here, man. It's we're here to do it differently this time.
I think that's you hit so many amazing points, and I want to dive in on those. And it's this: I think that there is such a message that you mentioned, you even bought into.
Mm-hmm.
That, well, I can't do this because I'm lazy, or I can't do this because my life is too busy, or I can't do this because of this or this or this, and we start to tell ourselves these narratives. And the narrative you started to tell yourself was, maybe I'll never get back there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm not worth it. Maybe I'll never look like I did again on the LSU baseball team. So what's the point? So many different things to uncover. And we hear these online coaches and people calling people lazy. Like,
Mm.
you can't do it because you're lazy. I have never seen a long-term positive result come out of negative emotion and
Mm.
negative reinforcement.
No, no. There's a lot of that going on, man. First and foremost, can't call yourself positive and then hop on social media and belittle people expecting a positive result, right? And a positive response. The other thing is, just because you're in your 40s and you're shredded, I don't care what age you are, it doesn't mean you have it all together, right? So, like, there's many individuals in this world that are massively successful. You and I were speaking about this the other day. John Maxwell. He's the GOAT. He's overweight. So is he lazy? Does he lack discipline? No. See, we have to understand that there's different compartments in life. And some people struggle in the relationship part. Some people struggle in the financial part, right? And those individuals that struggle in, let's say, the financial part, maybe they look like they're built like a Greek god. Cool. But they're not as happy, right, as the people that may have the family, may have the financial aspect. So one quickly can say is like, okay, you're chasing the abs, but what else do you have? So, like, the bottom line is where you and I come in is like, you can be shredded or you can not be shredded, but you can be successful in other areas. Now, the trick is, right, to get them all kind of the same level, right? Everybody is searching for that next level of something in their life in a different category. So who are we to judge someone's discipline, someone's laziness, or whatever? Like, I just don't think that's accurate for most people.
I don't think it's accurate for most people, and I don't think it's accurate for multiple reasons. We don't know the proof that people have built up. We don't know what has been told to them their entire life, so why should they feel like they're worth it? Everything, most things are nuanced. So, each person needs something different. And my experience is this, and we're saying this not to go after people on the internet giving that message. We're saying this so that you can understand that your worth is not tied to your appearance. Just because I walk around with 4 or 6 abs popping out at 41, almost 42 years old, does not make me worth more than you. For me, and for you, Shawn, we had this conversation offline. Your worth is tied to that. Your worth is defined by being a beloved child of God.
Mm-hmm.
That is where your worth lies. And then you get to reflect that love onto your family, onto the people you help. And from then on out, when we find our worth in our businesses, when we find our worth in our abs, when we find our worth in those things, it means we're chasing something typically that we have not found fulfillment in yet.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
And there is nuance. And I can tell you this for a fact. I've struggled with weight my entire life. Yes, I'm a fitness coach. When I finally got the abs I wanted, did they make me happy? No. I still picked myself apart. There's still body dysmorphia. And that comes from a sense of lack, from something typically in the past. I know we're tired of this message of it's from our childhood, but often it is.
Yeah.
Or it's something else there. You and I discussed, if I may share this, you said it was free for all. That even when you were your best shape ever, you had a family member that would still come up to you and be like, what's this right here, and pinch you and call you fat.
That was my dad. You don't have to beat around the bush on that. I'm an open book, man. And I don't know what his intentions were. I'm sure they were good. I'm sure he was doing the best he could. How I read it was I wasn't good enough. No matter what I did, I still had a little bit of love handle here. Hey, what's that right there? Like, dude, you hear that shit enough, and you can never be happy with anything in the present. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be your results at work. It could be results in your show, your brand, your fitness, doesn't matter. I can tell you right now, there was a season, probably 8 months ago, where I was miserable in my own body. And I'm like, I am disgusting. I saw pictures and videos of it the other day. I'm like, damn, I looked good. It's like, what the hell? It's like how we perceive life is all our mindset in between the ears. Like you can literally distort what you look like based on your thoughts, right? Like, I would love to go back to the 8 months ago. Like, can I have that as my baseline? But it's not. This is it, right? I get to come back from this and document it with you. But yeah, dude, it was my dad. I mean, like, straight up, man. Straight up. And he did that like I don't know, almost 3/4 of Julys ago. And that was it. That was it for me. It was done. Like, no more contact.
Good. I have this philosophy: if somebody's not making us better, our lives better, they're not in it.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's blood. I don't care if it's friendship. And as you know, my pastor recently said, some things we let die, some things we kill.
Yeah.
And sometimes that thing we kill is the narrative of ourselves that we've been telling ourselves. And with that being said, no wonder it sounds like subconsciously you didn't know this until recently when we spoke offline for about 2.5 hours.
I love those road trips, bro.
Gotta love them. But no wonder every time you would get success, all you heard in your head was, you're not good enough. So why would you keep going?
Dude, it's so funny, man, because there's other areas where I still hear it, but I still push. Like, with my show, with my payroll business, I'm like, yeah, this is good, but it needs to be, so I can keep going. But the fitness, for some reason, dude, just shuts me down. It just shuts me down. So, like, yeah, but like, why would I, right? If nothing's good enough, right? If, what's the point? What's the point of even trying? Let's just eat, sleep till 6, wake up and have pancakes, and it's not the pancakes. Like, I want everybody to understand that too. It's not just the pancakes. It's like, for me, in that mindset, it's the pancakes, and then what's the next decision? Like, and then what's the decision after that? So like for the last 2 days, I've been straight up clean. Like I haven't put anything in my body that has been off plan or whatever, right? I believe in treating yourself, but I also believe there's a season where you don't because of where you're at physically. And right now, I'm perfectly okay with running the play that I need to run for however long it takes.
Well, and let's dig into that for a second. We often hear the word treat yourself. What does treating yourself look like in this season right now? May be different than it is in another season. And right now, treating yourself looks like the plan that we've come up with together. And there's a big difference. And it looks like 3 to 4 days of lifting, 3 to 4 days of zone 2 cardio, and eating primarily whole foods about 90% of the time. Often when we treat ourselves with those, if you have a slice of pizza with your kids, great, neat. That's joyful unless there's guilt or shame. And if there's guilt or shame, that's no longer enjoying where you are. That's not treating, it's torturing.
Right. I don't know that I've ever just had one piece of pizza.
I did when there was only one left in the fridge.
Like, yeah, dude. Like, if that's 8-corner with butter crust, I can have 2, but that's probably more than half of my daily caloric intake. You know what I mean? Just at least, right? Because what it says online of, oh yeah, that's 450 calories. Bull crap. The butter's 450. I can feel it going down. So, but no, man, I mean, to your point, you know, treating looks different, right? Will there be a day in a couple weeks where my family's having pizza and you know what? I decide to have one piece and then, you know, take down a protein shake to finish off my meal? Yeah, probably. I'm not wanting to yet. Like I can't even fathom it right now. It's weird. Right, it's weird.
I think that's powerful. It is that shift in mindset, and it's approaching it. You're approaching yourself out of love, not desperation. There's a massive difference there. We tend to want to create a positive change by approaching it with loathing instead of love. The only way to make yourself better is love, not loathing.
No one talks about that though, man. People look at things like, oh, this is wrong, I need to change it. This is bad, I need to change it. This is massively effed up, I need to make a move. Like, there's no change. People talk about it. Who was it? Man, and there was someone big said this. You will not change unless you are unless there's a massive amount of pain to your current state or what you're doing. Like, I get it.
The pain of change, the pain of remaining the same must be greater than the pain of change in order to create change.
Who was that?
Ayn Rand.
Huh?
I believe it was Ayn Rand.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
But like, I heard like someone big in our space say it. I'm like, oh, so I've got to be miserable to change. And so like you look at it and it's like, so once you're not miserable, and here's the key, this is going to blow everybody's mind. And I've never even said this to you before, but now it makes sense because if you have to be miserable to change, you have to be in emotional and physical pain to change. What happens in 3 weeks when you're feeling better? There's no motive. That's my biggest disconnect. I start to feel good and feeling great and there's no misery anymore. And so it's over. We revert back and we get fluffy again to a point where I'm miserable. And then it's like, okay, well, here we go. And that's the yo-yo. I feel like I feel like I need to be on a couch right now. Like this is a massive therapy session. Like I never put that together before. You're like, and how does that make you feel?
I mean, it's true, man. And it's so good. And articulating that, I am going to sound like a therapist. How does that make you feel, having that revelation and articulating it and seeing why you were self-sabotaging yourself?
Dude, it's nuts. It's nuts because I've never been able to pinpoint it. So like big wins today. Big wins today. Got up early, got my workout in and my cardio, had good food today. And then this big epiphany to me means so much. And this is why it's so important to have conversations with people you know, love, and trust. Like open ones for the whole world to see. Because that's how you work through shit. Right. And like for me, I'm sitting here thinking like, dang, how did I not get that before? How? Like how? It's like massively different, dude. Like I'm smiling. This is nuts. This is nuts.
No, like, you mind if we take this a step further?
Come on.
Let's
Yeah,
go
absolutely.
let's go right into that. Let's go forward with that and approach this out of love. So we're going to use one of the first steps of my coaching, which is aligning our actions with the identity of the person we want to become. What does the fit, happy, healthy version of Shawn look like? And
What?
I don't mean physically.
Okay.
I mean, what does he do? How does he approach things? What are his core values? What does that look like? I'll give you an example. For instance, me, and I know you know this, I am a beloved child of God, a fit, happy, healthy, strong Christian man that leaves everyone he meets better than he found them. If something doesn't line up with that, then I don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
What does that version of Shawn look like? So
You know, sorry, I don't know that I can articulate it. I'm gonna do my best. Um, the happy fit version of Shawn is patient. He's loving. He's present, and he doesn't take one moment with his family for granted. And obviously God fearing. Okay, but at the same time prioritizes the things that are going to give him longevity in his life, so his children never have to face the fact that they're 14 and their dad's sick. I can't do that to my wife either because she dealt with that with her dad. I can't do it. So yes, it's a big responsibility, but it's also an opportunity. It's an opportunity to lead. And so the best version of me, that fit, happy, healthy version of me, is just to do that. You know, doesn't worry about the doctor's appointment. That doesn't worry about experiencing things with his children because he's tired or doesn't want to take his shirt off. See, because all this stuff is like a mental prison. And with that comes a lot of anxiety that I live with, and at moments depression, like you and I have spoken about. Like the last 6 months, dude, if people don't realize it, but I've been hurting emotionally, right? So, yeah, is your question, but
that more than answers it.
cool.
So, and I appreciate that. And I think a lot of people are going to relate to this and resonate and see themselves in this answer. With that being said, if I may, this is interesting. So let's look at that. When we are faced, why does this matter? When we are faced with day-to-day decisions of not wanting to get up, not going to the gym, not eating the healthiest foods, do you think it would be helpful to say, what would the version of the Shawn French that I'm aligning myself with, that I'm creating, what would he do in this moment?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that would be helpful?
No, yeah, no, it would be more than helpful. You know, see, whereas before I couldn't identify that because I didn't know, I couldn't see it, couldn't even fathom it, right? Because I never let myself get to a certain point with any of it, right? It would be right on the verge and then revert. I don't know what that version looked like, but yeah, I mean, I've already dealt with that the last 2 days. I mean, it's something that every second, it's a minute by minute, play by play, dude. You know, like you said to me yesterday on a text, one foot in front of the other. I'm literally, literally, it's like, okay, what's my next decision, right? My next decision is what I'm going to put my body before my daughter's gymnastics. That's my next decision. I already have it. I already know what it's going to be. So now I have that off my plate, right? Then I go to gymnastics. Now I got to make another decision, right? Like the dinner. And then it's after dinner. Where are we at with our macros? What are we able to, you know? And so like it sounds taxing, but quite literally it's freeing because I can now, it's like baseball players, man. When we tell them to slow the game down, right? Slow the game down. That means you're dialed in. The ball looks like a freaking beach ball. That's what things look like right now. That's what things look like right now. So it's not before or like, yeah, I'm gonna get this done as quickly as possible. I don't know how long this is gonna take, bro. Not interested in it. And I bet you one thing, not being interested in how long it's gonna take or what I'm gonna look like in 90 to 120 to 180 days, it's probably gonna happen a lot sooner. Because
Why do you think that is?
watch pot never boils, dude. I mean, you know, it's like you could sit there and watch it and, you know, weigh yourself every 5 seconds and take pictures every single day. And you're literally looking everywhere for that one spot that changed, for that 1 ounce that you're losing. Well, we know that's not the way it is, right? We know we're going to lose and we're going to gain based on how much salt we had the day before or how much water we had or carbohydrates. Like we're going to fluctuate, you know, but yeah, I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. So let's look at that for a second, right? If you talk about what am I going to eat before my daughter's gymnastics, sometimes it could be this. It could be, okay, I just need to figure out something to eat, so I'm not starving. Or do you think it might be helpful to say, what can I eat that will give me the most energy so that I can be the most present mentally for my daughter at her gymnastics?
Yeah, that's a good point, dude. You know, and I think these are all mindset shifts that I will learn as I go, right? Because of course, on the deep down, I want to be satiated, so I'm not miserable at gymnastics and then go get some stupid trail mix, right? Like, I mean, let's just be honest, you know. So yes, like those are the mindset shifts that I think will continue to grow. Like, hey, what can I put in my body just so I'm satiated, so I can have the best time at gymnastics, right? Like, because I can tell you right now, I've been there. I've been in that building multiple times starving, and I do not like watching what's going on. I completely checked out. I don't watch my daughter. You know, I'm doing other things, probably trying to bury myself in work to forget about it. But yeah, man, that's a good point.
So, and that goes back to the identity you said, a loving, present leader of your family that's God-fearing. What does that look like in that moment with that meal? What will allow me to be present and be a good leader of my family? If I align my food choice with that, what would that look like?
Yeah.
Do you think that aligning those food choices up with that would then eventually tend to be a little bit more nutritious, a little bit more healthy? And eventually your body will just follow. You'll look up one day and be like, in the inverse of how did I get here? Now how did I get here?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that, I mean, you know, just in a short time, like I don't feel super hungry, right? I mean, like I'm feeding my body. You know, I'm eating the fruit. You know, I had the vegetables last night. Like, I'm just not getting to a point where I feel desperate to eat. You know, it's like okay, like, all right, I ate at 1 o'clock. I'm due for another meal in about probably an hour and a half. Cool. Probably gonna slam down a protein shake and roll out, right? And maybe another apple. I don't know, right? But it is what it is. Like it was crazy. I had an apple today, and I thought it was like the sweetest thing I'd tasted. It was good. I had a red one, a red apple, like you put on your teeth. There you go.
So think about this just as something to think about. With so many things on your plate, do you think that doing the decisions as we go, okay, well, I'm going to eat this today, I'm going to eat this, I need to figure this out. Do you think that at some point it may be a good idea for us to sit down and pre-plan meals to get ahead of something that I see a lot of people have when they are balancing so many things, which is decision fatigue?
I'm a stubborn man. Stubborn man. Here's the thing. While I'm at home and I have a fridge full of food, it's very simple. Very simple. I'm strange. I do not like leftovers. I do not like it. It skeeves me out. I like literally gag when I eat leftover chicken. No joke. So like when I did the meal prep deal from, meal services, like the first meal or two tasted good. And then it was like, yeah, this is shit. Like I can't do this. Like even right now, like I have an aversion, like I'm not doing it. So like, if I'm home, like it's simple. I will make XYZ. If I'm gonna be out tomorrow, I'm gonna be out. So in the morning I'm gonna front load a ton of protein, right? To a point where when I'm out doing what I need to do, I have some fruit with me as my snack. And then when I come home, I have a meal, and then my dinner, I'm good, right? But pre-planning meals, yes. And to some respect, all my meals were in today. I knew what I was going to have for breakfast. I knew what I was going to eat for lunch. I know what I'm going to have for dinner, right? It's the snacks for me that are today are just a little bit freer, right? Like I don't have a plan for that. So, but I have enough here to find something.
Being prepared. So you planned in your own way, and that's a lesson that pre-planning can look different for everyone. But you have a plan instead of freewheeling it and then getting decision fatigue and going off the rails. And I want to touch on one last thing because I know we're going to hit time here soon. Everybody, a lot of the things you're hearing are things we have talked about offline. Going forward, you're going to hear our live time weekly discussions. This is more of an introduction. Is when I wrote up his plan a long time ago. It was, there needs to be more. There needs to be more. Where's more? This time it's like 3 days, 4 max. And we're talking 4 to 5 exercises and he's going to go away. And I know you, and just normally I would just be asking questions. But for those listening, sometimes less is more. What we have found in Shawn in the past is he loves that all or nothing, as so many of you do, but those can throw the hunger cravings through the roof. I need to go run for 30 minutes and I need to lift 27 exercises. Why am I starving? Why am I craving sugar? What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
And to touch on one more thing, as far as aligning the actions, your homework. Surprise.
Hold on, sir. Let me get a pen.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Is to do some self-evaluation. Write down your top 5 priorities in life in order. And also clearly articulate that version of yourself that we want to align our actions with.
So, question.
Yes.
Am I top 5 priorities as they are now or as they need to be?
What you want them, what they are now, and then what you want them to be. Because that's where we can create an alignment. And for so many people listening, you articulated it in your own Shawn French way. We tell ourselves we should be one thing, Our actions say something different, and that incongruence causes self-loathing and so many other ramifications. And I'm a very big proponent, as you know, on let your life be a silent movie. Don't talk, just go do it. And that is who you are. And those are your priorities, not what you say. And so once we clearly define these things, when you write down your top 5 priorities in order and who you want to become, then all I am is the director in your silent movie. You're the star.
That's it. That's it. What a good time.
Yeah. How you feeling?
Good, man. Good. Really good. Ready for the rest of
Good. Let's do it. Your new program will be in the app today.
calories and all that good stuff.
Everything's going to be there. And just FYI, I know this is going to be funky. I know you're used to going into, as so many people are, when they dive into a fat loss journey or a health and fitness journey, they go right into this deficit. We are going to find your current maintenance. And what that means is we're going to play with your calories until you're just coasting, not gaining or losing. And the reason we're going to do that is because once we figure that out, then we can know where to drop your calories to, compared to where most people just immediately slash calories, but we don't have a baseline yet. That's like a financial advisor. If someone's coach goes in and immediately slashes their calories, that would be the equivalent of a financial advisor giving you financial advice without ever looking at your income or your expenses.
Yeah. You already know what I'm thinking. So, yeah.
Why don't you articulate it?
Let me articulate it for everybody listening. What I'm hearing is, okay, I have a couple, 2-3 more weeks of being fat. That's what I'm hearing you say. What I'm hearing you say is, Shawn, you're 230 pounds, and I'm going to maintain that for 2 to 3. I don't even know how long. But, like, that's where my mind goes. And, like, whatever. But, like, I have to be open to knowing what the maintenance is, right? And I would imagine it's a good reset, right? Because then we can properly cut my calories, make my macros where they need to be in order for me to actually make progress. So I hate it and I love it all at the same time. You know me, I'm not going to pull any punches, but that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I know that there was probably a little bit of slander that probably wanted to go in there toward me.
No.
That's why it's so important for us to manage expectations, set expectations, and to clearly articulate what's coming.
Yeah.
So once we figure that out, then we can put you in that deficit, lose that body fat, then slowly move you back to a maintenance, let your body even itself out, and then adjust our plan from there. That eliminates and gets ahead of that pendulum swing that you've had before and so many other people have. How do we mitigate that pendulum swing? I like to call it the Trump Biden swing, going from overly rigid to I don't know where I'm going. And
you son of a bitch, dude. It's not even I don't know where I'm going. I don't even know what my name is. I don't even know, like,
all you know is ice cream. Got it. So that's how we get ahead of that. We find where our even is. So it's kind of like playing tag. Look, home base.
Yeah.
You got to have a home base. And we're going to establish that. And then we're going to move forward.
Excited.
And that's how we win.
Yeah.